Hi everyone, and welcome back to Getting There, the podcast with me, Brogan Garrett-Smith. Can't believe I'm saying it, but this is season 4. This season focuses around change makers. And I have the most incredible guest sitting with me today. It is none other than Miss Davinia Taylor. Davinia Taylor is a 2 times best-selling author. She's a mother of 4. She's a recovering alcoholic. She's an actress. And she is the queen of biohacking. And I promise you, this is a conversation you will not want to miss. Miss Davinia Taylor.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Super. Good. Yeah, very well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Normally, when I prepare for guests, I've got like an idea of like what I want to talk about or where I want it to go. But when I fall down like the rabbit hole that is your life and everything that you're doing, there's just so much to you. Like 2 times best-selling author. The UK is one of the world's leading female biohackers.
Yeah, because there aren't many female ones. Everyone, it's all blokes.
I can't find anyone to compare that to.
There's a few in the States, but the trouble with the guys in the States, particularly, I just find it quite super positive.
Yeah.
And health, particularly women's health, isn't fucking positive. It's a real shit show. And I think if you just say it as it is, it's and you know it comes with peaks and troughs, and I think that helps my audience understand that I'm going through shit as well, rather than this. Oh, I'm like Gwyneth. You know what I mean? It's like, oh bollocks. No,
she shits gold bullets by the looks of it.
Yeah. But I mean, I just
bone broth.
Well, this is it, right? Because when she started like consciously uncoupling, I thought, we wouldn't be friends.
Oh no, we definitely.
Yeah,
wouldn't be
I don't
friends.
consciously uncouple for anyone. No.
So, what is biohacking for anyone is listening and is not entirely sure?
Okay, well, if you just break down the word biohacking, so bio is like biology, and hacking is just fast tracking through it. So you can navigate your mood, your sleep, your bone density. I mean, anything. You know, you can literally whatever is in your body, you can hack into, and it's kind of freeing because you think, actually, I don't like that about me. I want to sort my mood out. I want to sort my energy out. I want to sort my sleep out. I want to be stronger. I want to be, faster. Whatever it is. There is a workaround because science is so far evolved, but we just get pulled back into
So we think we're powerless, don't we?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, do you know? I'm like decades ago. Well, she's lazy. They're quick. They're intelligent. It's like, no. You've got the ability to change that. You aren't just a title or an adjective, the way someone's describing it to you. But the show's called Getting There. And it's so interesting because when I look back on your life, and we'll talk a little bit about it, it was like the partying, being in the Primrose Hill set and everything else. I suppose now you're getting somewhere totally different from before. So what led you really into the whole biohacking and really needing to like fix your biology?
Well, I mean, I've always been sort of quite outgoing. I've always really loved the company of people. I'm very much a people person. I love chatting. I love hanging out. I love getting into that sort of flow state, we call it, with people, where you just get on and I love laughing. I love being happy. And so I think when I was younger, I was an only child. My mum got ill after she had me. She had breast cancer, so she was advised not to have any more children. And we lived in a really nice little house, but it was in a field, and I was completely isolated. And I think that, in a weird way, almost traumatized me. And I thought, I never want to be that bored ever again. My dad used to say, Lynn, she's looking out that window again like she's a weirdo. And I'm like, yo, what else do you want me to do? I'm sat here just like tracing flipping raindrops. Because I didn't have flipping Xboxes or anything. I didn't have any mates. My mum just loved tidying up, which I hate. And so I'm just like sat on my own for days. So I couldn't wait to get back into school. Not to do the work, because I was always in trouble, but just to see my mates. And I think that has always made me push the boundaries, because I've never been a homey type person.
Yeah.
I've always gone, sack it, I'll hang out with you, I'll hang out with you, I'll hang out with you, because you are full of it.
You love sleepovers.
Love sleepovers. Always wanted that. So I've always sort of like looked outside myself for family, really. And that drew me into the London life, because it was non-stop. So I moved to London when I was 20, and I left during lockdown, so that would have made me like 43. So I did like 23 years down in London, you know, and I was all around London, but I mean, pretty quickly, I started hanging out with, I know one of your ex-guests, Fran Cutler.
Yes.
And we just got on like a house on fire. She's like 100%. I mean, you know her. You know, it's just like...
And it's that energy. It's
light
captivating.
Goes to light. Light
they
goes
call
to
her
light.
a timeless ball of energy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Doesn't give a fuck anyway. She's like Nick's breast. She's been called Rottweiler, but that captivating energy.
Yeah, but you know, she's on your team. She's on your
Yeah,
team. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So that's where the sort of Primrose Hill set sort of like evolved from. First of all, none of us lived in Primrose Hill. I was further up the road opposite Sadie in Belsize Park. Kate was in St John's Wood. I mean, I don't think anyone lived there actually. That's just stupid paparazzi. But no, we were very tight knit, and it was like my family, you know. And then I fell into after I had my son, I ended up getting I became an alcoholic because no one actually. You can't become an alcoholic through choice. It's like everyone has a glass of wine, and some people just cross the invisible line. And people say, "Oh, well, you should stop." It's not like that. That got me interested in biohacking because I don't have any trauma in my life. I was bored, but that isn't an excuse to become a 24/7 alcoholic.
What point did you realise?
So that was after my son. So he'd be 1, and I think it actually I got to the point of real panic after I had my son because I'd had IVF, and again that's biohacking. You're hacking into your biology, and you put so many hormones into you that obviously when you have the child, you have no estrogen, and that brings down dopamine. And someone like me who's got low dopamine anyway, which is like your motivation hormone, your focus hormone, which is also called ADHD, you seek it anyway. So if you have got low dopamine and then you've not got estrogen to support that, boom, you've got cortisol takes over, your anxiety hormone, and you are on high alert for the most insane deaths. And because you've got a child there, you understand that's your priority. You picture the worst thing happening. House fires, drowning, falling downstairs. I mean, I used to shake changing his nappy, and the only thing that had stopped me from shaking was that glass of wine at night when he'd gone to bed. So my whole focus was like, just get through the day. And that's not motherhood, but not once.
It is motherhood though.
It's not normal. It's not normal to be turned into the bottle. Because the doctors left me. Not once did they ever say, okay, I can see what's happened here. This girl's been on the pill since she was 14. She's struggled to conceive. Okay, we've put her on a load of IVF. She's fallen off a ferociously steep, high incline of estrogen. Yeah. She's come right down. And do you know what we're going to do? We're going to boost her estrogen up with HRT. Not once did anyone take a blood test, question my hormones, and just went, boom, you are bad. And you are selfish. But bearing in mind, this is like 16 years ago. So I think now people understand the impact of hormones, in particular, like anything like the pill, anything like HRT can be used for benefit, but boy, are they powerful. They can pull you into the biggest, darkest depths. And this is the trouble with female health. Nobody knows what they're fucking doing.
No.
Because we've never tested on women. Even just recently, they've started using female rats in labs because they've always used male rats because they don't have a cycle. So that's where we're up to. So if a woman's going through some sort of mental health crisis, they'll say it's her fault. She needs to, I don't know, relax, chill out, whatever, or have SSRIs, which actually they put me on and they made me completely flatline. It's called adhedonia, which is an indifference to life. So I lost my energy. I lost my creativity. I just felt whatever. And that's all the solution they had for me. And I was stuck on those for years. And it's like so glaringly obvious.
How did your relationships with the people around you change when you were on those meds?
Well, I mean, I just couldn't be arsed. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I'll have a laugh. But it's like 20 minutes, kind of faking it a bit. And you just think, wish I was doing what they were doing. Yeah, but whatever.
Did you
I
think
just
this
watched the
is me
telly.
now?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I'd get up, I'd sort out the kids, I'd like empty the dishwasher, I'd have the news on, then I'd watch Flipping This Morning, then I'd watch Loose Women, and then that'd be the end of that. And
Just
that was my
counting
life.
down till 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, and I wasn't drinking at this point.
Oh.
No. I was just like, that was me, completely sober, 5 years sober, and that's what
That's
SSRIs.
so different to the Primrose Hill set that was going on a few years earlier.
Well, exactly. So it was like that's my sobriety. That's my trade-off. And that's what I've been taught. That's what doctors will tell you. You're depressed. That's why you drink too much. Blah, blah, blah. They don't know what they're fucking talking about. They really don't. And I think we're probably, there's this thing actually in science, and it's called from bench to bedside, which is when the latest papers are coming out. So bench in a lab.
Yeah.
to bedside to when a patient actually gets that information, it's actionable, say in the GP, there's a time lag of 17 years. So anything that you think's going on in science now, you will wait 17 years for it. And me, I don't have 17 years to be told this is actually wrong what we're doing. So, I mean, that's where we're up to on women's health. That's where we're up to on men's health. We are 17 years behind the latest findings. And I'm sorry, because we live in a world where information is accessible, I am not going to wait for my local GP to tell me, oh, do you know what? Maybe a ketogenic diet might be good for you because you're ADHD, you need more energy in your brain. Because they're 20 odd years, they're 2 decades away from it.
Yeah, you'll be
sorry, I'm an N of 1 experiment. I know my body.
You are the ultimate, what they call it, civilian scientist.
Well, this is it. Because what else am I going to do? Hang around and just go, oh, all right, yeah. I mean, no. That's not good enough for me, and it's not good enough for my kids. So me being in control of my energy, my sleep, my recovery for like running marathons or whatever, that trickles down into my children. They, like my son today, he's going to see his mate. He's on, he's doing a sleepover. He's going to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. He's so excited, and he's only 12. And he said to me, "Do you know what I did, Mum, this morning? I had a cold shower. I'm so excited. I'm buzzing." And you know what? 12-year-old kid would do that without me constantly sort of just saying it. I don't force them to do anything. They choose to do it, you know? And that for me is the osmosis of like living in an environment where you've got these little hacks. If I'd have only known maybe a cold shower could pull me out of that depression, I wouldn't have wasted 7 years of my life watching Loose Women.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's so dull as well, isn't it?
Eating sandwiches.
So you're sitting there watching Loose Women.
Again.
So then what is the moment when you're like, I just can't do?
Well, I mean, there wasn't I just can't do. It was actually Matthew, my other half, he's really into sort of health and stuff, and just he was an athlete actually. He was a rugby player, and then he broke his back, so he's always got like inflammatory issues with his bottom of his back. He's a builder by trade, but he was looking into like anti-inflammatory protocols and things like this, and he's a huge coffee drinker. Now I've always stayed away from coffee because I thought, oh my God, it's going to give me anxiety. But he started reading about a guy called Dave Asprey, who's in the States, who pioneered the bulletproof coffee revolution. And I'm like, I'm not having coffee because it makes me anxious. It actually made me feel like I was coming down off speed. It was horrific. I hated coffee. But then I started, Matthew started telling me, because I couldn't be asked reading, no, you combine coffee and a decent organic coffee that's not full of mold like the stuff in Starbucks.
No mycotoxins.
No mycotoxins, because that could be triggering anxiety. So if anyone's listening, if you've got a choice between Pret and you've got a choice between Starbucks, go to Pret. They've got organic coffee. So that's just perfect.
And also something that I learned when I fell actually down the Dave Asprey route when I started my bulletproof journey, it was like, so what do you mean it's got no mycotoxins? And I think it goes back to everything. Everything in the food industry is created to make a higher yield of everything. They want to mass produce everything. Like we'll come into it, the veg oils, this, that. So the coffee that's so finely grounded is oxidated. So it means the oxygen's got into it. And that is the side effects of that.
And
so you want a bigger bean.
And remember, they store the beans like in mouldy. I mean, it's as simple as that. They store it in mouldy conditions. Of course, it's super humid. And of course, you've got mold spores in there. And they don't check for anything like that because it's a plant. Plants, anything to do with plants just gets through every border, no problem. If it's meat-based or dairy-based, you've got high sort of like regulations, but not with plants. That's why I really have a problem with plant-based stuff coming over from China, because it's, of course, you know, we're talking the worst industrialisation.
Why do we need a plant to come from China? Like, do you know, even when you think about it, do you know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. So Matthew's saying to you, you need to do
try this. He said, try it. And I'm like, why do I want to put butter... Why do I want to put oil from a coconut into coffee that just gives me anxiety anyway? He's like, just do it because you're so bored. Let's try it. And I said, okay. And then I kind of felt, and this was like in the morning, so I kind of felt a bit like the lights had gone on in the back of my head a bit, like, oh, okay. I started thinking a little bit more coherently, and I started feeling a little bit more positive. Not wired, not hyper, not artificial, just something like a shaking me off, like a dog shakes off, you know? And and I went, okay, that's interesting. And of course, me being me, had loads and then ended up shitting myself. And Matthew's like, this is just
up all night.
ridiculous. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, but I want more. But that's the addict in me.
Yeah.
But so that's how my journey started, really, just to try and get some brain energy. And then it was all sort of like serendipitous because we moved house because I'd had yet another kid. I've got 4 boys.
It's a lot of children.
It's a lot of boys, yeah, a lot of testosterone. And it was just by chance I was re-registering them to another doctor. And he said, okay, right, we're registering all the kids. And he said, let's have a look at your notes. And it's just an NHS doctor, but he was a lot younger than the doctor I'd had in the other postcode. And he went, bloody hell, what the hell's happened to you? They've got you on really high meds. You've got stuff for bipolar here. You've got stuff for chronic depression. He said, what's going on? And I kind of explained my story, and he went, no. This is very old-fashioned. This is like 5 years ago. This sort of stuff needs to have been reviewed. Yeah. And never once was I.
So you was never reviewed in the 5 years?
No, there was no. I mean, I just thought, well, this is it. This is me. There's something up with me mentally. I've got something wrong with my brain, and that's my lot. Watch Loose Women. Yeah. So anyway, he weaned me off everything, and I didn't get a rebound effect, thank God.
But a lot of people do.
A lot of people do, but I didn't. Now I'm wondering whether it's because I had the energy from the MCT to give my brain a whole new fuel source, because MCTs are a medium chain triglyceride. It's just a very small percentage of the coconut oil, like 5%. You want a C8 MCT, not a C10 or a C12. C8, so it's got 8 carbon atoms in it. And that is such a small molecule. What it does is you consume it and it just completely avoids the digestive system and it hits the liver. And when it goes to the liver, it's converted into an energy source called a ketone, which then hits the bloodstream and goes to the brain. So within 15 minutes, your brain has got an alternative fuel source to glucose. Yeah. And all of a sudden, your brain's like, okay. Yeah, and if you combine that with like minerals, like electrolytes and things, all of a sudden, your brain has got the electricity and the fuel source to do what it was meant to do. You're not going to feel high. You're not going to feel out of control. No. You're not going to feel manic. You're just going to give something that was literally, your brain was suffocated.
It's interesting. Quite often we separate our brain from our body,
Absolutely.
Don't we? Like you go to the gym for you to look good. Like we separate.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting here going, no, I didn't change my body. I was feeding my brain. Like someone explained it to me once. I think your brain's like mostly fat, is it not?
It is.
It's like
and cholesterol.
Yes. So if you're feeding the fat, it's happy. So if you're doing the bulletproof, like you're feeding it and it's happy with itself, instead of like craving stuff.
Well, this is it,
kind
because I mean, once you start looking at it in a sort of, if you can, I find it easy to roll back the clock maybe, I don't know, 1,000 years or something. It's like, how did we evolve into the alpha species on the planet? And it was not by eating fucking bean burgers, It was not by doing that at all. It was by having meat and fatty cuts of meat and organ meats and stuff like that. And a lot of people go, oh my God, that's awful. But it's only 2 generations that we've stopped doing that. It's only 2 generations that we've stopped making stews or actual gravy made with bones. Yeah. And this is the problem. We've come so disconnected and we just rely on big food to give us treats. You don't understand the bottom line is them all flying on a private jet or in a super yacht in the Caymans. That's where their CEOs are. Yep. They're not sat in central London eating some flipping vegan ridiculous burger.
Not food, is it?
It's not food, but we've got our government saying eat less meat.
Eat fish fingers, they say, in it there. Eat this. Like they say that's part of a healthy diet.
I mean, I can't stand them.
And cereals. Did you see the thing in Kellogg's the other day?
Yeah, do you know where Kellogg's came from? So the guy, Dr. Kellogg's, actually developed Kellogg's cornflakes to stop masturbation.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a thing about masturbation. He was part of a religious sort of, I don't know, Seventh-day Evangelist or something. He thought it was an actual sin, and to put boys on cornflakes instead of eggs obviously lowers their testosterone and stops them masturbating. That's how Kellogg's was developed. So there you go. And we have an absolute epidemic of boys with low testosterone, which increases their estrogen, which makes them aggressive.
Yeah.
Estrogen is the aggressor, testosterone's competitive. Right, so if someone is very aggressive, it's like PMT.
Yeah.
It's toxic estrogen. So that's something to ponder.
So like with you and all of this knowledge that and obviously like it's easy for us because we're educated, like we can understand it, right? We're sitting over our computer in a hydrogen water, but like to try and reframe what you've got going into your children, and obviously to have had such a significant effect that your son's saying, well, mum, this stuff works, I'm having cold showers, like, what is the starting place you would say to people who are living a traditionally British lifestyle, who are like listen, I walk around the park and I see the kids with a Mao out of one mouth and a juice out the other, and that's child abuse to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like
people that are starting to get the lights turned on, but have got like a 6-7-year-old boy that is dependent, that thinks Frosties is food. Like, where would you tell them to start?
Basically, or if you sort of, like I was saying, it's only been 2 generations since we started really fucking up. So pre-70s. So if there's something there that would have been in a 1960s diet, really, like meat and 2 veg, bacon and eggs, you're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. You're okay. I mean, you can elevate things like your water, you put electrolytes in it, you can get a filter to filter out all the bloody hormones and the chlorine that's in our tap water. There's super cheap ones out there that you can do now, that because people are realising this is like, it's the rain barrel effect. Everything drips in. Your deodorant, make sure it's not got aluminium in. Do you know what I mean?
Because why? What would happen if it did?
I mean, for me, my mum died of breast cancer, and I'm putting Shaw all here every single day with all this, and I'm thinking that doesn't quite sit right with me. So I use Wild. It's available in Sainsbury's. It's just knowing. Do you know what? I'm not going to get mad about it, but I'm just going to lower that rain barrel effect. The toxins coming in constantly, because eventually it's going to overfill. You know, when I lived in central London, I was running around Regent's Park, and I did like this blood test, and the doctor said, "Do you know what? You've got traces of like petroleum or something in your blood." I said, "Oh my God, I run around Regent's Park, which that road, that Marylebone, is one of the most polluted roads in Europe." So he said, "You need to run inside on the gym." So I jumped onto a treadmill. So
did you have it measured after? Did it come down?
No, I didn't do it again. I just thought, forget it. And now I live up in Lancashire.
So definitely not got petroleum.
But it's really weird. I tell you what, when I go like for because I run every day, I do about 7K a day with my 2 stupid dogs, and the amount of men and women that walk past me walking their dogs, and the women come past and you can, boom, hit Chanel number 5. I'm like, oh my God, they're like, you remember Pigpen out of Snoopy with this like mist? They don't even know they've got it all over them, and they're just walking around in this, and they've put it on
toxic bubble.
Yeah, because there's no sort of like health and safety around the perfume industry because it's not consumed. But you put it on your wrists, you put it in the thinnest part of you, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going for a walk in bloody Clitheroe, and they stink like a Paris runway, or they stink like Selfridges, you know, that ground
like the perfume.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, wow. And then people have got sunglasses on going for a walk, and I feel like going, take them off. Your eyes need to see what time of day it is.
It's so interesting to our perspective. It's like, I was only on my skin. Like, so my sisters, if you open up their cabinets, Davinia, they have so many lotions and potions. Like, even when they get out of the bath, they'll put like this moisturiser on. And I'm like, girls, like your skin is your biggest organ. Like we think, it's just
actually, your muscle system is your biggest organ. I've just been reading about it, but
okay,
it's
we'll
the second
delete
one.
that bit because I was right. I'm joking. But I'm like, dude, you've just put 5 things on your skin that is going to seep into your body, because we think, it's not going in my mouth, so really it's not going in my body.
But even then, you don't care if it's going in your mouth because you don't think it's going to stick around. And we'll talk about vegetable oil in a bit. But you're right, actually.
We've got a real thing in my house about vegetable oil.
I mean, I'm obsessed with it. I mean, I hate it. But so my new thing is just using beef tallow on my skin.
Okay, right. But going back to the boys, yeah?
Yeah.
So these kids, this hypothetical, but obviously very real scenario, yeah? Someone who's just coming awake a bit at the moment, and whose kids are like 7 or 8, and they have predominantly a cereal and a high sugar diet, and like you know what it's like having boys.
Yeah,
like, it's a battle. Yeah, to then take away that Frosties. I know there's some of the stuff you've mentioned online before, but like, how can we try and reduce their cravings a little bit, or try and make it soften the journey for them?
Yeah, it's that middle ground. So that's why I developed a company called Will Powders, because, you know, our kids are addicted. I know addiction when I see it. I see a mass population that is addicted to refined carbs and sugar and veg oil. They're called bliss point foods, and cereal is one of them. It hits every single dopamine pathway there is. And of course, they're highly addictive, and they will just kick off a craving for something else. There's only about 5 big food companies on the planet. So they're all right if you go from, say, Nestle to Coca-Cola to Kellogg's to Mars Company. You know, they're fine. Someone's going to pick up that $5 you've just spent. You know, just remember that. There's only 5 of them, and they all come under different names, you know. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal how big that network is and how powerful they are. But if you... So my negotiation, because I've got one kid who smells everything, you know, so he's the trickiest one. The other 2 are more malleable. But I'm like, okay, we're gonna have bacon, and we'll do it on sourdough bread. But I won't tell him it's sourdough because he says that's minging. So, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, but again, our grandparents would have had fermented bread.
Yes.
So we wouldn't have had white folded bread Warburtons full of all preservatives.
Or the
and
half
everything.
and half shit.
No, none of that. So you have like a sourdough bread and you can freeze it. So you don't need to, because it does go off. But that's the point. If bacteria wants it, it's obviously something that, is nutritious. However, obviously Warburton's doesn't go off for like a year and McDonald's doesn't disintegrate for 10 years. So that's kind of really interesting.
Wild.
I know, it's wild. So I will give him a bacon butty with a gooey egg and he's happy with that. But I've also developed a protein which is made from bone broth. So like I said earlier, we have forgotten how to make stews. I hate cooking. I hate it. I hate tidying up. I hate the pans. I hate it. It's just dead boring. So, I mean, it is. It's
I think the hardest part for me being a mum is, apart from this horrible part of co-parenting, but what do you eat? Like, I'm looking at him and then I'll make all of this stuff and he'll go, meh. And it's draining, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
so kids
are really good at grazing. You just put it next to them while they're doing something else and they will eat it. Definitely they will eat it, but you just don't make a big hoo-ha about it. But I developed this protein shake that tastes like Mr. Whippy, that's base is, because I've got a chav palate. I've got 1980s palate. I love mint arrows. I love whisper bars, all that. And square crisps. I mean, that is my sophisticated palate, so it just shows my upbringing. And so I developed this and it tastes like Mr. Whippy and you just mix it up with some raw milk and boom, you have got bone broth protein, not shit like hemp or pea protein or whey, which is just going to bloat you. All of them are going to bloat you. This is bone broth. So basically what we did was, we got, there's farms in Scandinavia that by law have to grass feed all their beef. Yep. And when the beef has been sent for export, actually the meat, the lean meat, we have the bones and we boil it in huge vats for 36 hours. It simmers. So you get all the nutrients out of it, all the minerals, all the vitamins, all the collagens, all of that. And that goes in, and then that's dehydrated. So that simmers for 36 hours, and then it's dehydrated, and we get the flavour out. So it doesn't taste beefy. And then we put...
It tastes like Mr. Whippy, even though
it tastes like Mr. Whippy, because we've put vanilla in it, and we have put some...
Is there like sugar in that then, or not?
No, we use stevia. Now, stevia is from a leaf, and it's super, 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 super sweet. And it doesn't spike blood sugar, so it stops you craving. So the thing about our protein is it's non-addicting. Okay. So once you've had it, you're done. You don't need more snacky snacks because you've not lit up the dopamine by stevia. But the stevia doesn't act like sugar or sucralose. It doesn't alert the brain, okay, we need more of this. And we've also put keto powder in it, which is a mixture of grass-fed butter and MCT.
So it's similar to what you're putting in your coffee in the morning.
Exactly. So my kids have got brain energy with the MCTs. They've got butter in there, which has got butyric acid in it, which heals their gut. And of course, you've got all the collagen in the bone broth anyway, which is the amino acids, which is the building blocks for life. So they've got teeth, hair, nails, everything. Muscles. And of course, it's a complete protein. So they're building bones as well, but they're building muscle as well.
Have you noticed a difference in them since they started?
Yeah, they just get up and say they want that. Now, 2 of them like it mixed with banana and 1 of them doesn't. And my eldest one, Gray, who is now in that stage at 16, he wants to like bulk up. So he's asking me, I have to send it to my ex-husband's house, loads of that, because his dad gets the wrong one. I'm like, come on, you need to buy off me, pal. You're going to buy it off me. He's like, no, send me some for free. I say, give you a discount code. But literally, it's an old-fashioned way. It's like a stew. When parents write to me and go, is it okay for kids? I'm like, think of it as oxtail soup, but it tastes like a Mr. Whippy. And we've developed...
Why is no one else doing this?
Because I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah, you've never... Hold on, I remember we spoke on the phone. You were like, I'm just a mum. Well, first of all, you're way more than just a mum. Your curiosity's got you so far. But it's like you're saying, if you know all this information that's so accessible and you're not... Huberman or a doctor in Stanford.
I've no idea.
There's a reason someone's not doing it because they want to keep you hooked on all the other stuff.
I've no idea. I mean, they must be getting backhanders or something because, it's just obvious. It's so obvious. We want a stew, but I hate stews. The kids hate stews. When Matthew puts that stew pot out, we all go, oh, God, we're in this for a month. And he's like, no, it's lovely this. Look at all this local stuff. Like, so bland. Because... we're all addicted to shit. Yeah. So that's why I brought this out. And we've got a few more flavours. So because Easter's coming up, I don't know when this podcast's out, but Easter. So I've developed I can't say the name, but chocolate orange. I keep saying it's Terry's flavour, but anyway. And it just tastes like it.
I'm going to try them all up for my 3-year-old.
And I've got a mint aero flavour as well.
Is that more for your benefit?
Well, it's for me. It's for me. You know, but actually I number my kids. Number 3 likes that one, but number 4 doesn't. He's like, but he only likes vanilla. So I'm just going to bring out more and more flavours.
So when you shout them down, you're like 1, 2.
No, I mean, it's just when I'm talking to other people because then they understand straight away the hierarchy. Okay, so number 1's doing that. He's just walked out of school, so that's great. So I'm spinning that plate. And number 2, he's finding his independence and is really, really like into his aftershave at the moment. Yeah. It's great. Number 3, he wants to be a golf pro, so we're just forgetting about maths and English. So that's great. And number 4 is obviously the youngest, so he's a thug. But he's my thug, and he's dead cute, and he's like, and he's still got a lisp, but he's tough. You
must have learned so much in your parenting years from the 1st to the 4th.
Oh my God,
your parenting style is totally different.
So like,
what advice
by
can you
number
give me?
4, you just go, nah, whatever, come on, off we go. There's like, at number 1, you're like shaking, you're terrified. Well, I really was, but you don't know how to put a pram up or anything. No. But literally by number 4, you're like, and you can just get on a plane and get off a plane, and you
with one nappy,
literally
one nappy, no bottle.
You should have seen how I feed him has been different. I'm so relaxed, and the whole stairs thing, and you sort of like go, well, he'll only do it once. Because no one's like, stop them, it's going to be dangerous, But number 4, I'm like, he'll do it once. I had
that attitude from the beginning, and my sister's like, he's on the sofa, and I'm like, well, if he falls off, he'll learn.
Do you know what I
mean? He'll learn. But the food that you were feeding number 1 would have been
totally different.
Yeah, but we didn't know.
No, we didn't know. I didn't know.
When I used to have Weetabix, and my mum's a dentist, dentist 20 years, we used to be allowed to put 2 tablespoons of sugar on it.
Do you remember that when you get it? Oh, it was so fit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still there.
Yeah, but I
mean, when I had a hangover, I had 4 Weetabix, and I'm thinking, I can't understand why I'm not losing weight.
Right? And we ended up in Australia on this island, Hamilton Island, and we'd been travelling for a while, me and my sister. And we saw a box of Crunchy Nut, and I was literally fucking wetting myself in the shop. No, listen, I bought a pint of milk from the farm thing next door and just had a plastic spoon. Didn't bother putting it in the bowl.
Yeah, but didn't they do an advert like that? Somebody did that. I'm sure that was actually
inspired by me on an
maybe. So look at this one. She knows what she's doing. But I know I used to love Crunchy Nuts, particularly with a hangover. Of course, it's addicting.
And it's like it makes me so bloated and everything else.
Of course, it's just junk. I mean, we are not meant to eat that amount of corn. We are not meant to, like pea protein. If everyone fucking farts their heads off because they've got peas. No one's meant to eat 2 tons of peas.
So what's your thoughts on all these like protein shakes and that?
Well, that's why I developed my own because it's crap. Anyone who has Huel goes, oh my God, you're not wrong. Have you looked at the ingredients? I've got 5 ingredients in mine. Okay, so of course you've got veg oil in it, you've got pea protein. And I spoke to one of the execs who's left and I said, what is this pea protein? What is it? He said, to be honest, I don't know. It just comes over from China and we just shove it in. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was one of the biggest companies in the UK, and you don't know what's in it, and you're head of manufacturing. So it's just peas. But like I said earlier, because it's not on the land, and similar to marine as well, it's not regulated because there's no fear of BSE or anything like that. Let the peas in. God knows how much mould it's got on it. God knows how much glyphosate it's got on it. God knows how they've grown it, under what conditions. Have you even checked the slave labour laws?
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? The margins are phenomenal. So it's easy and it doesn't go off. It don't go off. So it's about I just look at the ingredients. They've got synthetic vitamins in there. Synthetic vitamins aren't going to help anyone. You need the real vitamins from the actual whole food. So that's an ultra-processed food. So mine's a processed food because it's been dehydrated. Yep. And that's it. It's been dehydrated. And then you're going to mix milk into it.
It just means it's been through a process. But if you could have gone back to that moment, to the woman that was sitting there watching loose women unloading the dishwasher, what do you think you needed right then that could have helped you? Like, what, anyone that's listening to this and can resonate with that feeling, what would be the starting place? Or just a few tips so it's not overwhelming?
My first book. So my first book's called It's Not a Diet.
Which I read like 3 years ago when I was pregnant.
This is it. Get a highlighter if you've got no... Because I've discovered that if I need to read something for research, I have to highlight it. I also put like headphones in and listen to white or green noise. It really calms that distracted mind, you know.
Or the people that are in my head?
Them lot, they'll get told to shush as well because your subconscious calms down.
See the books I've got, it's just like folding pages.
No system whatsoever. Yeah. But somehow I retain it if I've highlighted it. It's bizarre. Yeah. So if I think you have got what I'd call like a really slow, what you feel like, sluggish. You feel sluggish mentally. You still feel very heavy. You're wading through quicksand. That is okay. We can hack around that within hours. It's not like one of these, come back to me in 6 months, we'll see how you're getting on. No, we can change this in minutes if you want to with an ice bath, and that could be the first step. And once you start realising you can hack into dopamine, your motivation hormone, freely, without any come down, great, we're on. But my first book, It's Not a Diet, just takes you through those steps really, really easily in how I speak.
It's very accessible.
It's how I speak. There's no sciencey. There's no flipping. It's just like relates it to. Okay, you can't be arsed walking, never mind running. Your doctor's telling you, right, you got to eat less, move more. Fuck off. I'm energy depleted. That's why I'm eating too much, because you're telling me to go for a run, but I can't be arsed. Their sort of advice is not helpful.
Yeah.
They're just taking it from some stupid, boring
Handbook
17 years ago. And we have not moved on. We're not helping the population who's clearly addicted to hyperpalatable food that's making them brain dead and just flatline.
Mix that with meds.
Oh, yeah, and then your liver's sluggish because your liver's trying to detox it, and your liver and your gut and your brain are all connected. So you just know what a hangover's like anyway. Your brain stops.
I
It's
can
because
get
your
that from
liver.
food, though, as well now.
Absolutely. I get it from food. If I have a Chinese takeaway, I'm like, ooh.
So I wouldn't, just because the E number's freaking me out now. But then
But I'm risque, aren't I? I'll dip in and out. Because,
She's wild. She's wild.
But I mean, I know how to hack around it. I know how to support my liver. I've got a supplement for the drinkers and the takeaway lot out of my sort of following called Rise and Shine, and it's got some kick-ass sort of ingredients in there like NAC, which converts into glutathione, or master antioxidant NAD, which is what depletes as you get older, so your hangovers get worse. If you don't have enough NAD, you will not bounce back from a hangover. And you can get NAD IVs now,
Yeah.
They're really, and they should be in every single rehab there is. Not just a 12-step program, because this is a medical thing as well. This is your brain being knackered. You're bound to relapse if you're knackered because you're probably drinking for dopamine anyway.
Yeah.
So, there is so many hacks out there that the NHS can't do because they're just like, oh, it's not been tested. Well, I'm like, well, whatever. You carry on doing your thing. I'll do my thing because I'm so much better just vibing the way I do it, and so are thousands of other women, because we're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. And I think another buzzword that I want to talk to you about, it seems to be going at the moment, and it's coming to the forefront of the biohacking world, is methylation.
Yes.
Can you explain, in layman terms, the DNA, the methylation, and why we should take methylated supplements?
Yeah, okay, so 50% of the population doesn't methylate properly. So your whole body methylates, and it's the easiest way to sort of like describe it is it's how you say detox. So like we're talking about hangovers. If you're a poor methylator, you can't sort of detox very well. You can't make your glutathione very well, So, and also if you've got a really good example is, so if you look at your multivitamin and you see B12 in there, just check what type of B12 it is. Because 50% of the population thereabouts need methylated B12. 100% of the population can take methylated B12, but 50% need it. Otherwise, you have a B12 that's made from cyanide, which is okay because you can make all sorts of like great things out of what poisons are, I mean, look at like radiotherapy. So for an example, but some people really struggle with cyanocobalamin. Okay. So you need methylcobalamin. So it's methylated. So when you see methyl in front of one of your vitamins, you know that company's done the due diligence for you. It's more expensive.
But it works.
But it works because cyanocobalamin is cheap as chips, and you just pick it up from China for like less than a penny. So just be aware. So if you're getting vitamin B shots and you're not feeling any uplift from it, you might want to ask the practitioner for a methylated one, and also ask them where it comes from. Okay, so always check the provenance of your vitamins. Always check the provenance of any IVs you're getting. It's really important that we don't just say, oh, look, my shoes are from Italy and my furniture's from Italy or whatever. By the way, it's not. It's all made in China and then it gets a label put on. Yeah. But if you're looking at your food, just look where it's come from, because it's important. Yeah. It's important.
And the vitamins, I think when you look at most of them, it's like bulking agents. But I was listening to a podcast.
I mean, some bulking agents are all right because they help it flow through the system better. So if you've got something like silicon dioxide that looks dead scary, actually your skin, hair and nails really benefit from silicon dioxide. It's actually okay. It just happens to be a great flow agent as well. It stops the machines getting stuck. So it's familiarizing yourself with what works and what doesn't, And that's what it is. You've got to read the label. But in my first book, I wrote down all the things you've got to look for on a label. And as soon as you see something like veg oil, there's like 200 different names for sugar, but you genuinely know what sugar is. I mean, come on.
It goes
but the first 101 for me, to take out veg oil, even more so than sugar, is the first step. Veg oil is sunflower oil and rapeseed oil. Just get it out. Get
They're
it out.
carcinogenics, are they not?
It's an inflammatory thing, but again, we've got the bench to bedside time lag of 17 years. So you have doctors go, no, actually, no, there's no evidence. If you eat something with veg oil in, first of all, let's do the history on veg oil, right? So back in the 30s, Procter & Gamble, and remember we're post-war as well, so beef tallow, lard, dripping was getting more and more expensive, because we're post-war. So Procter & Gamble, brilliant company, tons of scientists and everything were making soap out of veg oil. Anyway, some clever dick decided that it'd be, if they refined it, they could make it edible, and then you would have something called Crisco, which is what everyone got told to fry their food in.
Higher boiling
a high
point,
smoke point, yeah, apparently. But the trouble with that was, actually, it was perfect timing for this industry to take off. There's a guy called Ansel Keys, and he did he did a study called the 20 country study, and I think it was called that anyway. But anyway, he only looked at 7 countries, and he correlated that higher saturated fat, like consumption of butter, consumption of like red fatty meats, correlated with a higher incidence of cardiovascular disease that was pretty kind of rare compared to now back then. So he suggested that we needed polyunsaturated fatty acids, veg oil, in our diet as opposed to things like dripping and beef and lard. So it was him who said that. This is back in the 60s. The same guy, Ansel Keys, in 1997 said, actually,
got it wrong?
That was wrong, but we're still married to that religion, and doctors are that you need low cholesterol to lower your risk for heart disease. Therefore, you need a high amount of polyunsaturated fatty acids in your diet. Therefore, cook with heart-healthy rapeseed and veg oil. It's not heart-healthy, because it's a really unstable fat. An unsaturated fatty acid is unstable because it's unsaturated, and it's meant to be unstable because a third of our cells made of it, but it's like an alarm system. So when a disease comes in or an injury comes in, that lights up and boom, it can oxidize. So oxygen can get into this unsaturated part of the cell. Yeah. And then it sends out a message, go, fucking hell, we're under attack. And then you get the cytokines coming in, yeah? The inflammatory markers. And then your wrist will swell up or you'll feel ill because you've got a cold. So they're there for a reason, but it's only a third of the cell. Now, what's happened is we consume so much of it. It's something like our actual physical body fat has changed from 2% polyunsaturated in your actual body fat to like 25%, which means you've got unstable body fat, which is actually a lot more wobbly, and it's not the same as the body fat we would have had like maybe even 60 years ago.
I think you can see it on people and on me. It's a little bit dimply compared to
but it's unstable. It's and what we've done is it's in everything because it's
so my friend is on the same journey. And she's gone into Marks the other day and she's picking up a thing of olives for her kids in sunflower oil. She's like,
of course, yeah.
Why is it in olive oil? She's
I know, you get so mad.
Why are
you
olives
get so fucking mad.
in sunflower and draped in it?
They're the worst. Marks and Spencers are the worst. They're the worst virtue signalling lot, them lot. And, it's all made in the same packaging company anyway as Morrison's or whatever. So, it's just, trust me, you got to read the label and just move away from this stuff. Because, and the great thing about it is you don't crave it because it's not sugar. It doesn't taste nice. You're not going to miss it. You're going to replace it with olive oil.
Yeah.
You're going to replace it with coconut oil. You're going to replace it with butter. You're going to replace it with goose fat when you're going to do your roasties. It's literally, again, going back to what your great-grandmother would have done. She would not have... They didn't want to cook with Crisco at all. They didn't... Those grandmothers of ours, they didn't want to use it. It was just forced on us by Ansel Keys. It was a perfect storm.
But it's in everything. So I went to a beautiful restaurant the other day, and I was like, now I'm on the veg oil hunt, yeah? So wherever we go, we're like, what's it cooked in? So I ordered salmon, blah, 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 something else. And I said, I want to get the butternut squash. And I was like, butternut squash as a side. So I come back and I said, what's it cooked in? Oh, it's in
sunflower, rapeseed.
And I was like, so I thought I was being healthy, by getting the salmon, the rapeseed, the butternut squash that was it turns out to be in rapeseed. I think it was something else, like the broccoli had been cooked in the same oil. And I was like,
yeah, it's super cheap, and they reuse it in restaurants. If you just look at McDonald's, you look at McDonald's, they literally advertise they use cooking oil to transport up and down the motorway. We use biofuel. It's the same stuff that they fry the chips in. It's just the perfect thing for a multi-billion-pound company to do.
Yeah.
And that's virtue signalling. But no one goes, oh, aren't you good McDonald's using that? Not thinking, hang on, I've eaten that, but that can fuel a 40-foot lorry.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, Procter & Gamble had soap. Remember, this stuff is in the pink stuff, right? You know the pink stuff. If you got stains on, well, you'll learn this. When your kids start playing football, you get stains. The only stuff that will get the shit out the bloody white PE shorts, why they do white, I don't know, is the pink stuff. First ingredient in the pink stuff is veg oil. It's like eye makeup remover, waterproof eye makeup remover. It's the same stuff. So when you consume veg oil, because it is a detergent, when you consume it, it starts stripping your gut of mucus. Now remember, your gut starts in your mouth. It's not in your tummy. Your gut starts in your mouth. So as it cleans, it strips the mucus down your throat. Now, what is in that mucus are little sort of hormone receptors that send a message to your brain instantly that it detects amino acids, the building blocks of life, amino acids, what collagen's made of, protein and everything. It checks for that. So your brain will detect amino acids and go, great, we can finish eating. We're satisfied. But as soon as you have that veg oil, it strips the mucus. So your brain never gets a message that you've had amino acids. So you are going to be constantly hungry forever.
That's why people eat McDonald's and they can go and get something else to eat.
Yeah, you can't stop.
No.
You're eating detergent. And that's the trouble.
You're a woman on a mission about the veg oil, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
I don't know. I want to do a campaign or something. We've got to stop the use of it and the misinformation that it's good for us. And why can't we just go back to using butter? Why can't we use our local dairies? I mean, look at Kerrygold. It's a huge company. It's fabulous. It tastes fit. I love salted butter. It makes everything taste better. I mean, you just ask the French, they think we're crazy.
100%.
Exactly. So I'm not asking for people to suddenly start paying a fortune for some weird and wacky biohack. It's fucking butter. It's lard. It's goose fat. It's stuff that our body recognises. It's not one molecule away from plastic. And by the way, veg oil stays in your body, we think, for about 5 years. Sugar, you can detox quick. That's why I say enemy number one is the veg oil. The sugar we can deal with.
And
we've eaten
we know
sugar
what
forever.
sugar does now, yeah?
We've eaten sugar forever because we've always had honey. We've always had fruit. The liver, of course, excess of it. But what people don't understand is that carbohydrates are sugar, right? So bread is sugar. Pasta is sugar. Just because it doesn't taste sweet, it's still sugar. But for me, 101, you literally take the enemy out one by one. And the worst enemy number one for me is alcohol. Second was veg oil. I hit sugar instead. It should have been the veg oil that came out first. But I was further down my journey before I realised that this is the stuff that makes me overeat. This is the stuff that crosses the blood-brain barrier that makes me feel flatline.
I feel like you've had so many lifetimes in your life.
Yeah. But you're like me. You're busy boots as well, aren't you?
Yeah. But I'm sitting there talking when I'm thinking about this overweight, sad woman opening her dishwasher and watching Loose Women to the woman that sits in front of me, it's wild.
Yeah, and I think actually that woman is kind of like millions of women right now. And they're like, this is it. And your doctor said, well, this is what happens when you have 4 kids. Like it was like I've done something wrong. Yeah. Well, this is why you're going to pile on weight because you've had 4 kids. Nothing to do with the fact my brain is screaming out for nutrition and the shit that you're telling me to have whole grains and rapeseed oil and orange juice is just skyrocketing my blood sugar and making me addicted to carbohydrates and everything else where I have to eat bowls of Haagen-Dazs because this is the advice we're getting. And someone's got to stand up and go, actually, do you know what? I think we got it really wrong in the 50s. Can we just roll it back to the 30s? And do you know what? We're luckier than in the 30s because we can import actual fruit. We can import really good quality everything. But to be honest, where we are in Britain, we've got so much frigging rain. We've got so much grasslands. We've got the best beef in the world, which, by the way, we're exporting to China and importing soy. So that's the trade. That's the trade. We've got soy, which gives kids man boobs and girls cellulite and bloats you. This is our health food, but China gets our beef that's grass-fed and grass-finished. What the fuck?
It doesn't make
any sense. So I'm like, okay, we just need to stop taking we just need to go back to how we were, back to basics.
I think it's just like about taking control because like you say, we're told that we're so powerless and this is what life is.
But it's your genes, it's DNA. No one gets told about epigenetics, how to hack your way out of what, it's in the family, so that is the end of you. Yeah. It makes you so powerless. My mum died of breast cancer, so any other doctor would go, well, no fucking chance. I've got 4 children.
It's like when you have 4 kids, your body's never going to be the same again.
No,
why?
They're such gaslighters.
You were made to have kids and go back.
I know.
I don't get it.
I mean, they do gaslight, and I don't think they even realise it. But they've not got doctors don't have the resources, and they've not got time to be scientists, which they wanted to be. And doctors are notoriously compliant. They do as they're told. So if the American Heart Association says you need to, we are finding that you need to have low cholesterol, which will stop you from having a heart attack. A doctor's going to tell you that because he thinks they're right. Little does he know that the American Heart Association, in their guidelines, have got a tiny paragraph that says dietary cholesterol is no longer a molecule of concern for overconsumption. Because they've not read the fucking guidelines, because they've got too much frigging paperwork to do.
Yeah.
Dietary cholesterol is no longer a molecule of concern for overconsumption, but have statins, because the thing is, this is another bugbear. If you don't have cholesterol, you don't make your sex hormones. You don't make your estrogen. You don't make your progesterone.
There's a lot out there now at the minute. It's the men with their libidos.
Well, yeah, we've got Kellogg's and we've got low saturated fat, so they're not making testosterone.
No.
And they're also getting soy. Soy's it's an estrogen mimicker, toxic estrogen, xanoestrogen. Also, bottled water, the microplastics cause you to increase toxic estrogen. You've got good and bad estrogen.
What's the answer with that, though, if you live in London? So I've gone on, like, literally, it's like living in London.
Yeah.
You cannot drink out of that tap.
No. Well, you could just get a filter. You can get a household filter for like 140 quid or something like that.
Does it work, though?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it does. It does.
And it would take
I've got a Berkeley filter, and you can pick them up off eBay because people get bored of it. And all it is, it's got a big cylinder of activated charcoal, and activated charcoal is so absorbent. So anyone who's got food poisoning, take activated charcoal, but don't take it with any other vitamins and minerals because it will absorb everything. I mean, like the contraceptive pill. So do not.
Be very careful.
Yes. So basically, you've got it's a vertical sort of filter, and in the top half of it, you've got a round cylinder base with two huge black cylinders of activated charcoal, and that just you tip tap water in it, and then it just sucks out all the impurities, and it just drips down, and it's just a tap, and it looks really cool. It's bright silver thing. That was more expensive, but I've had it for about 7 years.
I'm just automatically thinking that's going to take up room in my kitchen.
Yeah, it does do, but it does. But
it's
one of those things, and the kids just use it automatically because it's at their level, you know? I've got one kid who wants it to be ice cold, who's always got this thing about having fresh water, but I'm just like, no, just get on with it because that's just a level above my pay grade, chilling the water. But remember, when you've got something like activated charcoal, it's going to take everything out, including the minerals. So remineralize it with just like a pinch of sea salt.
Right, I'm going to
squeeze a lemon.
You got diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken meds?
Yeah, it just made me very flatline. I think a lot of women find it a bit of a struggle. I'd imagine because it was always considered a boy's.
ADHD or meds?
No, it was always considered a boy's condition. So it's never been tested on girls, and it's only recently that our generation are being tested because of most mums going like, "This is my son," and you're ticking the checklist, and you go, "Yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me." And it's only now that we're going, "Hang on, that was always me." Yeah. But I kind of dig it. I lean into it.
This is my thing on it, and I'm sure I'll probably get a couple of comments on it. I'm just struggling like with the term ADHD. Like we're so quick to label everything as ADHD, autism. Like for me, like you say, I got the checklist or whatever, babe. I could tick on to the next page, yeah. And they're so quick to medicate, and it's like, okay, so for me, and I know we had this conversation separately. It's been something that can be challenging, but I don't think it's a thing. Like, that is an aspect of my personality, right? Yeah. I don't believe that I was made to sit on a chair at classrooms at schools. No. I was made to sit on my hands. There were 6 of us in the classroom. Yeah. We weren't allowed to touch Bunsen burner.
I always used to be writing on my leg, everything. I mean,
I wasn't allowed.
We have to wear 5 denier tights, and I used to just rip them.
Just because
completely bored.
But I also feel like I wasn't made, like if we take it back to like decades ago, we weren't made to sit and keep still and be in these classrooms and stuff. And I'm not slating the schooling system.
Well, we should really, because it's not really working.
Well,
it's not really working. And I've got, in my company, Will Powders, right, I've got an ex-teacher who writes blogs, and she's just left the teaching community. And there is a huge increase in mental isms, and it's not necessarily mental health, it's just mental isms that are coming out because now we do have some names, but the system's not.
Brogan and Davinia can't sit still doesn't mean, why are we being labelled with something? Like,
I mean, I don't care. I've been called worse than someone who's got ADHD. Trust me, I've been called a lot worse. Bet you have as well. I'm just not asked. You know, I think every single entrepreneur on the planet's got ADHD. We're highly
with
into
the people
risks.
that they're medicating. So I've got a friend of mine. I don't know anyone that can do Pilates for 40 minutes in the garden with no music. Like literally. Vegan, not just because she's a vegan, but I'm just going to give you a picture. Vegan, chills, meditates, does Pilates in the garden, 40 minutes, does an hour meditation, goes through a low ebb, gets told she's got ADHD. I'm like, what?
That doesn't sound like it.
Because it still means if you've got incessant thoughts, like if you look at, like you say,
It's
how big
silly,
the checklist
innit?
is, puts her on tablets.
And how does she feel?
No one's seen her in a year.
Like, wow.
And the conversations we have had.
Because I tried it. It gave me the EBGBs. I got the EBGBs.
I'm not in pain anymore. I won't go into it. I'm not in pain anymore, but I can't feel anymore.
Yeah, it's adhedonia.
So
yeah,
you've
it's an
been
indifference.
so quick. Like we say, this checklist is so big and so long that, you need 4 things to fucking tick it off or something, and you can go and get meds. And we're not seeking the things that you're talking about where we can hack into our systems.
No, because it's called lifestyles hacks, and that's just too wishy-washy. I mean, I'm all for the latest pills. I love a pill. Don't get me wrong. I'm always trying something, which I probably shouldn't do with my flipping addictive personality. However, I love nootropics. I love like methylene blue. I love like weird IVs.
What's the nootropics?
Okay, so this is probably something you might want to dive into. So nootropics they're actually developed in Silicon Valley to make coders think faster. So rather than
like Advil?
Yeah, that sort of thing. But you can, so caffeine, for example, is a nootropic, but you combine that with an amino acid called L-theanine that's found in green and black tea. Together, instead of getting the jitters, you have the caffeine with L-theanine, you get a cool, calm energy. So you can really hyper-focus. And you can combine that with all sorts of things like taurine as well, and you can just elevate your focus. So if I want to do an intense learning, so like when I was on the train today, I just necked a load of nootropics, put my headphones in, and I just went brum for 2 hours solid, and then I'm done. That's me done. I've hyper-focused.
What's that film called where they like...
Oh, Limitless.
Yeah, is that what it's like?
Well, I mean, I guess, but it's without you feeling jittery, because I really don't dig anxiety.
No.
I don't dig all that, and that's what the ADHD drugs sort of gave me. They gave me a very quiet head, so no creativity. I wasn't thinking outward. I would have thought it would have done that. I wasn't optimistic. I just flatlined, and then I got a little bit of anxiety.
How long did you try it for, though?
Like a week, and I went, nah, it's not for me, this.
And what about HRT and stuff?
Well, do you know what? I thought I needed HRT, but to be honest, I don't. I needed to get rid of some toxic estrogen, which seems to have brought me back down. So I'm 47 next time. And so far, so good. I have so much collagen in my diet, though. And that is the building blocks for life. I have such a high saturated fat diet, which, like I said earlier, is the building blocks for your sex hormones, so via the cholesterol mechanism. Well, I mean, actually, I can't be arsed with all that sex. I'm like just happy.
4 kids.
I know. I'm just like, come on, and I want to normalize lower libido. I hate all these women who are like, yeah, we're in the menopause and we're having loads and loads of sex. I'm like, I've got to do that as well as a fucking school uniform.
Well, while I've got my mouth tape on my nose tape and my eyebrows.
That's exactly what I look like. He's not a cat else. That's statey, you weirdo. Like Brian Johnson. Have you seen Brian Johnson?
No, who's that?
So he's that billionaire guy who's trying to reverse his aging. I've never seen anyone look more weird and sort of androgynous-y, alien-y. Brian Johnson. Have a Google of him and you'll just go, wow. But he takes like 50 pills a day. He's had stem cells from his son put into him. I mean, it's all really fabulous.
Very AI-y.
It's very AI-y, yeah. But I mean, he's got some good points, but I'm like, mate, instead of 50-odd fucking capsules in the morning, just have a steak.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, but steaks make you. I'm like, no, it's because you're not eating nose to tail. If you just have lean meat, you're going to have too much methionine. You need to balance that with glycine, which is where the skin comes in. So by the way, make sure you have chicken with skin on.
Were you interested in all of this stuff as a child?
No, I used to fall asleep in science all the time because I'd been out the night before.
And now you're a little brain box.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how you evolve.
That episode of your life, even though it was so tragic, like when you were drinking and everything brought you here.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, and that is the great thing about being in sobriety. And I go to AA because nothing else works. There is no sort of IV or anything that's going to get you out. Although I did mention NAD. I think that should be in rehabs when you're in that first month. You have a loading dose just to pull you in, just to make you feel better, because that boosts all your hormones. But there is a spiritual side of it which just takes the edge off life, and it's like, let go, let God. And I saw a really cool... there's a lot of people who come into AA at first like, oh my God, it's too gaudy. I don't get it, because it was written, the AA book was written in 1935.
A lot of God squad in the room.
A lot of God squad, but it's not really. So what it is, I say to newcomers, I say, right, okay, so you've got the spiritualists who call it manifestation. You've got the atheists who call it the placebo effect. You've got scientists who call it quantum physics. And you've got the religious who call it prayer. Right, no matter what it's called, they argue about what it's called, what the name is, but no one dismisses that there's something there.
At play.
So just whatever sort of group you want to attach yourself to. If you were born into a faith, happy days, frigging grab onto it. But if you're more science-based, read something about Bruce Lipton, get into quantum physics and focus that there. And that's like energy fields, you know?
I remember the first thing I did live and I was like, because I did the Hoffman process, and they made us write our own obituary and I was listening to something of yours and you had to write your own obituary.
Yes.
But we had to do the left road and the right road. So if you die now, like all the what everyone's going to say, and if you die, you follow your whole path. But I actually had to die twice because where I laid down in the garden in a black bin bag, a fucking snake come along. I was like, so I had to die twice. But anyway, I won't ruin the process for anyone. But it was so serendipitous from that day on when I was like, I'm going to do something with my life and help people not feel the way that I feel. To the day was my live event with Mo Gadat. And I said, whatever the thing is, it is above and below me and it walks next to me every day.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Not bother.
But
and sometimes you can feel it. When things are going pretty good, you can sometimes feel it. But as an alcoholic, when things are going good for me, I need to go, hang on, watch it. Because I don't drink when I'm depressed or I don't get depressed. I don't drink when I'm low or angry or some shit's going on because I'm naturally on high alert. And so when my mum died, I knew I wasn't going to drink because I was leaning into my program. I was holding on to everything and I was working a really good program. And I'm just like, okay, I've got to let go. I've got to let God. Now, when things go really good, like you're having a great summer's day and the sun's shining and you just suddenly go, my addict, but bearing in mind, I'm like 15 years sober, my addicted brain goes, do you know, I wonder what a little lager would do for you. A little lager. I didn't even drink lager. I didn't even hang out in beer gardens. But all of a sudden I'm thinking,
that could suit you.
Do you know what? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And you could have a right chat with the neighbours. No, I would be blacklisted from the neighbours. Well, you'd just
be rolling about their garden, pulling down their washing.
I think it would be about 72 hours before I was morning drinking. Because you literally, and that'd be a lot of willpower not to just drink continuously. So I'm not going to risk it. But it's just interesting to know that even after all this time, but I mean, I can walk through Sainsbury's, I can walk through a pub, I'm not arsed. I don't see it, I don't feel it, I don't feel the alcohol until something's going really good and I go,
So did you have that spiritual connection before you had your fall from grace?
No. Not at all. I was like always like in control. I'm like, okay, what can I do to do this? What can I do? And it's really hard work, particularly with my sort of brain. Okay, I need to get this job. I need to do that. So I need to lose weight for that acting job. And it's fucking really hard work. So
yeah, and back then they'd tell people if they were too big or too.
I mean, and it's right. You know, if I was too big, I was too big for the fucking part. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I can't be something that they don't want. But obviously, boom, rejection gets you.
So as a child, is that what you wanted to be, an actress?
I think so. Yeah, but the reality now is I'm really into. I mean, I never would have thought.
You're not
that
going back into acting now.
No, never.
You're going to be Queen Biohacker of the world.
And it's a lot easier because it's really boring on set. And that doesn't suit me. I hate hanging around.
Did you enjoy being an actress?
Yeah, I did, because I started when I was, 17. I walked out of my A-levels, so to go and get a job. So my son's just done the same, and I'm like, okay, touche. You know, so, you know, and it is what it is. And that's the great thing about just having some acceptance. And rather than being frightened of, I'm not going down the regular routes and neither's he, I'm just like, wonder what's going to happen.
Well, this leads me to my next question. As you know, the show was called Getting There. Like, where is there to you? What...
I'd really like to live somewhere that's sunny. Bearing in mind, I live in Lancashire and I'm like, what am I doing here? But all the neighbours say that as well. We come out, I walk the dogs every day, and every day it's like, have you seen the state of this place?
Or you're still here.
We're still here. What are we doing? And then we get that one summer's day. It's like the best place in the world. So, I mean, maybe I'll live abroad. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Right now, I'm just building the business. I'm really enjoying that. I've got a fabulous Facebook group called the For Fat's Sake group, because we're all about good fats.
Yeah.
There's the FFS group, which is just tens of thousands of women just having a right moan about, and we share our experience about how to shred body fat, how to get out of, how to hack through a hangover, how to get into a better sleep routine. So I kind of dig that, and I'm really leaning into that. And we were talking about dickheads and how nasty they are, particularly on Facebook. So we have like a digital dickhead detox once a month.
That's
so
fun.
People who are being fucking nasty and sassy and a little bit like that, they just get kicked. So yeah, it's a really good place, and I'm kind of proud of it, because it evolves on its own. It's got its own. It's not me lecturing anyone. They've taken my advice and they've ran with it. And then they out things like Marks and Spencer's. Have you seen the olives? Have you seen the hummus?
The cheek of it.
Yeah. And they're charging more than Tesco.
Yeah.
I think actually Aldi have got olives without sunflower oil in. So
is this what I mean? But I bet if I had said to young Davinia coming out, drunk from a house party in Primrose Hill. Listen, you're going to go on to fall into science and change the world and make people feel so much better about themselves. You'd be like,
yeah,
you
all
right?
right. So what are you on? Yeah,
What have you smoked?
Swerve her. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's so remarkable.
Well, this is my point. You just don't know, do you? I mean, we've just got to let go and just see what happens. And just the great thing is about having a bit of faith, whether it's quantum physics, whether it's manifestation, whether it's religion, or whether it's just, I don't know, something's out there. It's kind of exciting because, you know, you're taken care of, because I look at time and time again, the scrapes I've got myself into, even like the most awful times, like my mum dying, I've come back. Yeah. I've you know, it's not taken me out. So time and time again, you get through it, and we all get through it, because just look at history. The human race is really fucking resilient, regardless of the mixed messages we get on the TV. We are funny fuckers. We are really
I have to
great.
laugh in despair.
Yeah, well, this is it. And I think
off.
that's why community really comes into it. That's why I'm proud of like the Will Powders community and the For Fat's Sake group. It's because we're very honest, very raw, and it's like, it is out what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I just think if we don't laugh, we cry. And do you know what? Actually, laughter is the best medicine. And that's why that takes me back right to the beginning, when I just wanted to giggle. I just wanted to be surrounded by people. And now I am, you know, and that means
and I think
the
you're
world to
holding
me.
that for so many other people as well.
Well, yeah, it's just like, okay, this is what I did. And it's a conversation. And I know people meet up and in real life, you know. And so that's really encouraging that I'm on the right track. And I'm not slagging off the medical community. I'm not slagging off the NHS. I'm just saying, you know what? It's not really working. Look at us. We're really fucking knackered. Well, and I do swear. I keep hearing myself swear.
God, if my dad watched it all the time, he was like, can you just stop swearing?
Yeah, my dad does that. And I'm like, says you. My dad's a bigger swearer.
I don't think it's uncouth. It's more of like an act of passion. I'm like I'll say to my mate, oh my God, that's so fucking exciting.
Yeah, I know.
And my
do.
dad's like, why
the
are you
swearing?
meant to
You're
be a
a
lady?
lady.
This is why you're single. I'm like, oh, really? Do you have to keep saying that?
I know, I get it all the time. Meanwhile,
so he'll introduce me like, this should have been my son Brogan. I'm like, Dad, I'm 34 this year, mate. And he goes to everyone, how many camels? I'm like, Dad,
Thank
he thinks
you.
you're really funny.
Oh,
Poor Romana walking around.
Yeah.
Who wants my daughter?
Do you know, I think my dad tried to get rid of me a few times back in the day. He despaired.
Well, I keep pinging back. He thought I'd gone, but I'm back.
Here I am with another idea.
Yeah. But listen, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
today.
having me.
I had so much fun.
Me. I hope you learned a few bits and pieces. Oh, I'll tell you what I wanted to speak to you about, getting up having a wee. You mentioned that.
Yeah, go on.
Right,
so wants to listen.
I
get up about 8 times in the night.
Okay, so that's crazy. So I think what you're doing is, obviously you're waking up at like an emergency sort of thing, but I think
then once I'm awake, I've
your
redecorated
cortisol's
the
gone up.
bedroom.
Yeah, you've gone through.
I'm like, oh, like, should I do this? Should I do that? And there's no cut off.
Yeah.
So this is my second day, and I'd already took melatonin.
Okay.
Which I'm trying to avoid.
Why?
Because it makes me drowsy, and I was so addicted to
which
sleepers.
type of melatonin are you taking? You're taking drops or you're taking tablets?
Tablets, 10 milligrams.
Take the drops. Just take the drops under your tongue. I think that's better. It gets into the blood system quicker and it's done.
Because I wake up groggy with that.
Yeah,
so I feel like my
you get
system's
hangover,
so...
you don't want
Okay,
that.
so I'll
get the drops. And Spain sell them, France sell them.
Okay,
but obviously
Saturday.
England don't.
But this is what happens. I buy like the whole case. So it rattles along as like my holdalls I go abroad.
So take that, but what you need to stack with is some L-theanine. You know that stuff I said that's a nootropic that gives you a cool, calm energy. That'll take the list making that you mentioned, like, you know, you've redecorated and everything, all that hyperactivity in your brain, that'll calm that down. So probably take about 400 milligrams of that. And also, I'd recommend you take like 20 grams of collagen. You added the glycine in it.
I've never took collagen ever.
Okay, so you need bovine collagen. Don't have marine collagen. It's a load of shit because it's come from the sea, and what did in the sea, sewage and microplastics. Stay away from that. It's the cheapest fish there is, regardless of it saying wild. How do you ring fence wild fish? It's a lie. You're paying a premium price for marine collagen, and it is junk. And they've got dolphins in there and stuff. And I mean,
Do I
it's
put
really,
it in a drink?
you just put it in water. Put
Break my
bovine
fast?
collagen. Doesn't matter. Just have it before you go to bed. 15 minutes before you go to bed. Just put it in water. Have a few L-theanines and just see what happens. And just do it. And
Someone said gamba as well.
GABA. GABA is what the glycine will push up your GABA, your anti-anxiety hormone, and so will the L-theanine. It's the feeling. So that, but also the collagen might really help your bladder. You might have thin walls after having the kids and everything, and all the shit that goes on there. Oh, and these as well. These are blue blocking. So these are blue blocking glasses. So they're only a tenner on Amazon. They're only a tenner. So this will, if you're like me and you scroll at night, put these on because the blue light.
Because once he goes down, I get to respond to everyone.
Yeah,
and then I'm like wired, and I'm like, should I do this? Should I do that?
So put these on, and maybe get them in yellow. They're even stronger. But blocking that, because blue light is what you get in the morning. Blue light is what the sun gives you in the morning. I'm a huge advocate of the sun, not just to get a tan, because a tan is great. It's your skin's way of protecting yourself from the UV rays, and it also increases vitamin D. So vitamin D plus cholesterol under the skin, cholesterol under the skin plus UV lights turns into vitamin D, which is a boost in mood, and it's great for bone density.
Right.
So just, you've got to get vitamin D. And I think orally you're never going to get it the same as in the sun. But I digress. But what you need to do is in the morning, get outside in sunlight, or it's 3 minutes in sunlight or 20 minutes when it's overcast. But whatever you do, as soon as you hit like about 4 o'clock, get these blue light blocking glasses on.
Order them right now.
Order them, and then do as much phone, as much telly as you want, but you've blocked out the blue light. So when you feel sleepy, the cortisol spike you get from blue light is what you need in the morning. So that it spikes cortisol.
So I wore this ring for the first. How long do you reckon I was up for? 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Once I'm up and I'm like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Because I stopped looking then at the phone. Like, I don't ever look at the phone time, but I'm like, no, I know this is a long time I've now been up. Like, that's why, because my mind is so. I think I've got a lot going on at the minute, but it's like, whoa.
Yeah, well, just try it. Just stack some
I'll be a guinea pig.
And you won't be groggy. It's not going to make you groggy. You need to lower cortisol, which is the blue light blockers, because the blue light gives your body the impression that it's morning. Blue light is in morning sun, not evening sun.
So this is another thing that I keep getting told to stop training and running so much. That you're just putting too much cortisol in your body. But I need that to feel alive.
Yeah, we're all different.
Is that
so
true?
It's just so beige, that advice. Just please, just leave me to do me. And you do you with your yoga and your Pilates. I need this to get order. I do it. I missed my run this morning because I was prattling around in the kitchen because all the kids are off. So I missed my run this morning coming here, and I feel it. I'm a bit more scatty, but I had a load of nootropics anyway to sort of balance me out. But yeah, I think someone to tell you to stop running when it's your vibe is a bit rude.
Yeah. Okay, keep running.
Stay in your lane, love.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
No, you're welcome.